Have you been watching the news lately? If you've not, if you've been, hiding under a rock or cocooning yourself in your living room watching, America's Got Talent or something, you perhaps have not noticed that our financial environment is in flux. And today on this episode of Selling Life and Annuities, I've got Paul Bechtold, the manager of our debt elimination programs here at Hague Rd Marketing. And we're going to talk about the financial environment and kind of what's going on and how that affects people's financial decision making. Stay tuned. I'm Randy Pierson, Vice President of Life and Annuities. And so, Paul, I know you talk to a lot of consumers and you talk to a lot of agents, in this volatile environment that we're operating in today. What do you hear? What do you see as being the most noteworthy issue that consumers are talking about and or facing?
Well, the first is that they're waking up to the fact that this 12, 13-year bull run market is coming to an end. We're probably not going to do too well in the market. They see the Dow falling and they have concerns, okay? Also, obviously, inflation is a nightly topic on the news. And rising taxes. Imagine that they told us taxes weren't going to go up, but except for the ultra wealthy, and they're going up for everybody. So
yeah, they are, right? And the ultra wealthy is a moving target, right? Who is the ultra wealthy or who is the wealthy in general? But yeah, listen, I agree, and frankly, the most noteworthy thing that I hear about and see are these rising interest rates. By the way, for an insurance carrier, rising rates are a welcome respite from the low rate environment that they've been having to deal with for a long time. But for the average consumer, and also, by the way, for the U.S. government, rising rates is not a good thing. Would you agree that that's one of those big things that consumers are going to have to face?
Oh, absolutely, because I think most consumers out there have been very jaded by less than 3%. 30-year mortgage rates. You're facing something similar yourself right now, right?
Yeah.
And we tend to get used to what we've been around for a while, and anything that works against us in an adverse manner, all of a sudden it's kind of panic sets in, especially if it's a time that you're moving or maybe you're making more income and now you're going to have to pay more taxes. Or maybe you got kids going to college, any kind of life event that's coming along that is not fortuitous to you at that moment that might, tap into your finances, all of a sudden becomes a wake-up call.
Yeah, I would agree. And, properly positioning themselves or ourselves, because we're consumers too, is the most critical thing that somebody can do to make sure they insulate themselves from the inevitable up and down, right, of the financial conditions we all have to work within, raising taxes, interest rates, right, all of those types of things. So, in your world, in what you do for Hague Rd Marketing, for our agents, and ultimately for consumers out there, what is the number one thing that somebody can do to perhaps insulate themselves from some of these volatile market conditions?
Well, there's certain things that are outside your control, but specifically what we want to talk to our agents about is whatever the conditions are, you play those conditions to your favor, right? Okay. So you just said it a second ago, even though interest rates are rising, there's a spin we can put on that, and we can talk about the benefits of it in terms of the products that we position people's money into and the upside market potential, and the fact that we insulate all of our clients from a down market, and then we have a zero floor worst case on anything that we do. Okay.
Yeah.
So you take whatever advantages you have, that basket full of advantages in a given time, and you spin them to your advantage. You attract clients to that set of conditions, and there's always a set of conditions to attract clients to. Yeah. When times are really good, we focus on capitalizing on that. When times are bad, we focus on conversations that shift people into safe money strategies and insulate them from the problems at hand, right? Yeah,
I think the direct result that I see on a daily basis in my world are, for example, rising rates on MYGA products, right? They're growing rapidly. If you're an agent out there and you've not looked at some of the 5-year rates and such in the MYGA space, they're going up a lot. Raising crediting rates on indexed products. But I'm thinking more directly in your world, and it really resonates to me. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with an advisor earlier today, and we were talking about, how to better help their clients position themselves, particularly in this world of rising mortgage rates and what's going on in the real estate market, right? Oh my gosh, my house is worth a lot more today than it was 3 years ago. I want to sell. Well, then the problem is, where the heck are you going to go?
Right.
And not only where are you going to go, but what are you going to pay for that mortgage? The most effective way that a consumer can insulate themselves from some of those market conditions and ups and downs and give themselves the most flexibility is the world you work in my opinion, and that is be debt-free.
That's
right.
Exactly.
Own that home free and clear. Now you got lots of options, right? If you own your home free and clear and you go out and buy another home and don't have to have a mortgage, you don't care what rates are, right? Right?
Exactly.
I mean, I got to think that, when you're talking to agents and consumers about these concepts, that's got to be awfully appealing. Right?
Well, one of the things that we train our agents and also when I have conversations with consumers is, paying off that credit card that's bearing 15% interest rate is like the same as growing your assets by 15%.
Absolutely.
It's a zero-sum game. And especially in a falling market where we're not getting gains on assets, the clearest guaranteed gain you can get is paying that debt off, right? So
it's a guarantee, right?
Exactly.
It's a guarantee. So, we spend a lot of time on these videos that you and I do, and we talk about these concepts and these thought processes and dialogue that really, hopefully, agents out there are having with their clients, right, or prospective clients. But let's talk for a moment here, because we've not done it in a while. If an agent out there really wants to get involved in this type of process, this concept and this dialogue, which opens a lot of doors, what do they need to do?
They just need to reach out to me. They need to say, hey, I've heard about a couple of these debt elimination programs, your family bank and a new Money Max account, and tell me a little bit about each. I email them some information, let them review a couple videos, and they can choose which path works best for them. And by the way, we have many agents that choose both paths.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. The more arrows in the quiver that you have to solve a given problem, the more desirable you're going to be to a broader base of clients. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's all about, if you're an agent out there and you're an advisor, having the arrows in your quiver, right? So that you can hit the mark as it relates to helping a client achieve their financial goals. If you don't have the arrow, if you're sitting with a consumer and you ask them, what is your most pressing financial objective? And they say, well, I really want to get out of debt as soon as possible. But you don't have the tools to address that. Where are you going to go? How are you going to make a sale, right? If you're working in the accumulation space and all you want to talk about is investments or accumulation products, and this particular consumer, their overwhelming objective is, how can I get out of debt sooner rather than later? You're kind of stuck, right?
Exactly.
You're kind of stuck. So listen, if you're an advisor out there and you want to get into this space, first and foremost, you got to reach out to Paul, and he can talk to you about how to get involved. But more importantly, he can talk to you about the myriad of training opportunities that we can present to you. We've got a lot of videos. Paul's got a ton of collateral he can send you. We have carrier webinars that we can get you involved in so you can learn about the products and how they're incorporated into these systems. But most importantly, my suggestion is reach out to Paul. You can reach him right here at Gord Marketing. Just call our toll-free number and they can connect you to Paul, or send him an email, paul@gordmarketing.com, and we can get you the information that you need to be a more effective salesperson. But for that, Paul, listen, I want to thank you for participating in this episode of Selling Life and Annuities. But more importantly, I want to thank you advisors out there, you agents, for watching. Do me a favor, click subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell, so that we can continue delivering you this fantastic content to hopefully achieve our objective, which is help you sell more insurance and make more money. Thanks again.